Christmas morning at my dad's estate. The dining room smelled like cinnamon and money. My 3 siblings sat around the table, grinning. Dad stood at the head, holding 4 cream-colored envelopes. One by one, he handed them out. My brother opened his first. His eyes went wide. $50,000. My sisters tore into theirs. Same thing. Matching checks. $50,000 each. I reached for the last envelope. Dad pulled it back. Losers get nothing. The room went silent. My sister looked down. My brother coughed. I stood there, hand still out like an idiot. 3 weeks later, my phone rang. "This is Special Agent Torres with the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. We need to talk about your father." And suddenly, Dad's generosity made perfect sense. But to understand why the IRS wanted to talk to me, you need to know how I became the family scapegoat. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? Drop it in the comments, and hit that like button, because this story gets wild. Let me back up. I grew up knowing I was different. Not special, different. My dad is a commercial real estate developer. Big properties. Bigger ego. Mom passed when I was 12. After that, money became Dad's love language. But only for the winners. My older brother got his college paid for. Private school. $70,000 a year. My twin sisters? Full ride to state, plus a car each when they graduated. Me? You need to earn it. I put myself through community college, then state. Worked full-time. Took out loans. I became a CPA. I liked numbers. Clean answers. Patterns that made sense. And I started saving everything. Emails, texts, receipts, every family transaction. I didn't know why at first. It just felt smart. Over 12 years, I watched Dad give my siblings $260,000 in loans. None of them ever paid him back. I asked for $5,000 once, for a down payment on a used car. Figure it out yourself. So I did. At family dinners, Dad would toast my siblings. Their promotions. Their new houses. He'd look right past me. I told myself it didn't matter. I had my career. My own life. But deep down, I kept waiting for the moment he'd see me. Christmas was supposed to be that moment. Instead, it became the beginning of the end. 2 days after Christmas, Dad texted me. "Family meeting? Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Your attendance is mandatory." No explanation. I showed up. My siblings were already there. Nobody made eye contact. Dad slid a stapled document across the table. "This is a release form. It confirms you have no claim to any family assets, business interests, or future inheritance." I stared at it. "Why would I sign this?" "Because you've spent your whole life questioning me, doubting me. This family rewards loyalty." I flipped through the pages. Legal jargon, lots of it. "Did everyone else sign this?" My brother nodded. My sisters looked at their phones. "Sign it, and maybe next year you'll qualify for the bonus." Bonus? The $50,000. That was a performance bonus for family loyalty. My stomach turned. "You're asking me to waive my inheritance rights to prove I'm loyal?" "I'm giving you a chance to be part of this family. You've always been ungrateful. Prove me wrong." I stood up. "No." Dad's face went red. "Then you're out completely. No more family events. No contact. You're done." He gave me 48 hours to change my mind. I walked out and didn't look back. And that's when I started digging. I didn't sign. Dad made good on his threat. First, I was removed from the family group chat. Then my cousin uninvited me from her birthday party. "Your dad said you're dealing with some stuff. Maybe it's best you sit this one out." My brother called. "Just sign it. You're making this harder on everyone." "Did you even read it?" "It doesn't matter. Dad's not going to change. Why fight it?" I hung up. At work, I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about that envelope. The one with my name on it that I never got to open. One night, I pulled up the photo I'd taken of my sister's Instagram story. She'd posted her check. Proud smile. $50,000. I zoomed in. The check wasn't from Dad's usual business account. It was drawn on an LLC I'd never heard of. Heritage Property Holdings. I opened the state business registry, typed in the name, and what I found made my stomach drop. Because if Dad was hiding money in a shell company, that Christmas stunt wasn't about family. It was about something much bigger. Heritage Property Holdings, LLC. Registered 8 months ago. Sole member, my dad. No assets listed. No employees. Just a name and an address. I cross-referenced it with Dad's other businesses. None of them showed a $200,000 draw in the last year. So where did the money come from? I pulled up public records. Commercial real estate deals, liens, transfers, and there it was. A $1.2 million wire transfer into Heritage Property Holdings. 4 months before Christmas. The source? A development deal Dad had publicly called a failure. The Riverside Project. I remembered his Facebook post from last summer. Disappointed the Riverside Project didn't work out. On to the next. But it did work out. It closed, the money moved, and Dad told no one. He funneled over $1 million into a ghost LLC, pulled out $200,000 in checks, and handed them to my siblings like Christmas bonuses. This wasn't generosity. It was a payoff. And I was the only one who didn't take it. But why hide it from me? And why the release form? I saved everything to a folder and kept digging. A week later, my brother called. Dad knows you've been asking questions. I haven't asked anyone anything. He got a call from the county clerk. Someone requested filings on his LLCs. My heart skipped. That's public record. He's pissed. He thinks you're trying to sabotage him. 2 days later, a FedEx envelope arrived. Cease and desist letter from Dad's attorney. It accused me of making defamatory inquiries, harassing family members, and damaging his reputation. If I continued, they'd sue. I laughed. Then I stopped laughing. Because a lawsuit, even a baseless one, could cost me thousands. The next week, my cousin got married. Dad gave a toast. Family is everything. It's about trust, loyalty, love. But sometimes one person chooses conspiracy theories over all of that. He looked right at me. The room laughed. I left early. That night, the sibling group chat, without me, lit up. One of my sisters screenshotted it and sent it to me by accident. Can she just stop? She's embarrassing all of us. I stared at my phone. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe I should just let it go. Then an email arrived. Auto-forwarded from an old shared family account Dad forgot I had access to. Subject line, tax document request. All members Heritage Property Holdings, LLC. That email wasn't meant for me, but it told me exactly where to look next. I used my CPA credentials to pull public tax lien filings. It took 2 days. But I found it. An IRS notice of audit, filed against Dad's main business entities 3 months before Christmas. He was under investigation, and he never told anyone. I kept digging. The $200,000 in Christmas checks? Listed as consultant fees on a Schedule C for Heritage Property Holdings. Fake deductions. The LLC had no operations. No consultants. It was fraud. Then I found the smoking gun. A conditional trust filing at the county clerk's office. Dated 2 months ago, Dad had tried to convert the LLC into a family trust to shield it from the audit, and he'd forged signatures on the preliminary paperwork, including mine. I pulled up the document. My signature was wrong. Different ink. Wrong slant. The date was a day I was out of state for work. I'd never signed it. But if the trust went through, I'd be listed as a co-beneficiary, which meant I'd look complicit in his fraud. He didn't just lie. He tried to frame me. Now I understood the release form. He needed me to waive my rights so I couldn't testify against him. I had a choice to make. I went back through every public filing I could find. 3 prior IRS settlements. 2 liens released only after payment plans. Dad's real estate empire wasn't thriving. It was drowning. I pulled mortgage records on his properties. 90% leveraged. 2 were months from foreclosure. The Riverside deal was supposed to save him. $1.2 million in profit. Clean exit. But that money was already earmarked. He owed the IRS $780,000 in back taxes. Instead of paying it, he hid the cash in the LLC, gave $200,000 to my siblings to buy their silence, and planned to offshore the rest before the auditors closed in. The release form wasn't about protecting the family. It was about erasing witnesses. If we all signed away our claims, he could liquidate the LLC, take the money, and vanish. No paper trail. No one to contradict him. Dad's entire generous patriarch act was a shell. He wasn't rich. He was desperate, and he was willing to destroy anyone who got in his way, including his own kid. He called me a loser because I was the only one he couldn't control, the only one who didn't take the bribe. I sat in my apartment, staring at the evidence folder on my laptop. I could walk away, let him implode on his own, or I could do the one thing he never expected. I chose the latter. I didn't call my siblings. I didn't post on social media. I didn't blow up the family group chat. I opened a new folder on my desktop and labeled it Whistleblower Claim. Then I compiled every single receipt. LLC filings, wire transfers, the forged trust document, the fraudulent Schedule C, the IRS audit notice, timestamps, sources, chain of custody for every document. It took me 3 days. When I was done, I picked up the phone and called the IRS whistleblower hotline. The agent sounded bored at first. We get a lot of calls. I'm a CPA, I have documentation, and I'm willing to testify. There was a pause. Send everything to the encrypted portal. We'll review it. I hit send. Then I called a white-collar defense attorney. Not to sue Dad, to protect myself. They forged your signature? Yes. You didn't know about the LLC? Not until 3 weeks ago. Then you're a witness, not a target. Cooperate fully. Let me draft an affidavit. I signed it the next day. 2 weeks later, I got a call back from the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. We're opening a case. We'll be in touch. I wasn't doing this for revenge. I was doing it because someone had to stop him. And then I waited. 2 months later, federal agents showed up at Dad's office. I wasn't there, but my brother called me, panicked. They're taking boxes. There are cameras outside. What did you do? I told the truth. He hung up. The IRS launched a full audit. All of Dad's entities, personal and business. Heritage Property Holdings was frozen. Every asset flagged. My siblings started getting letters. You may be required to return funds received as part of a fraudulent tax scheme. My sister called me crying. I have to give back $50,000? I don't have that. Talk to a lawyer. There are payment plans. This is your fault. No, it's his. Dad tried to call me 14 times in one day. I didn't answer. Then came the court hearing. Dad's attorney had filed a motion to enforce the trust, claiming it was valid and that I'd signed it willingly. My attorney submitted the forgery analysis. A handwriting expert. Ink dating. GPS records proving I was in another state the day I supposedly signed. The judge put on reading glasses and examined the document under light. This signature is clearly fraudulent. The loop on the capital letter doesn't match any known sample. Motion denied. The trust filing is void. Dad's lawyer tried to recover. Your Honor, this was a clerical error. The prosecutor stood up. Your Honor, the defendant is under federal investigation for wire fraud, tax evasion, and forgery. We advise him to exercise his right to silence. Dad's face went white. Outside the courthouse, my siblings were waiting. My brother walked up to me. Did you really turn him in? I gave the IRS the truth. What they did with it was up to them. He's our dad. And fraud is fraud, even inside a family. He walked away. I drove home and didn't look back. The case took 9 months to resolve. Dad pleaded guilty to filing false tax documents and 1 count of forgery. He was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. He served 11, 5 years probation, and restitution of $680,000, plus penalties. Heritage Property Holdings was dissolved. The IRS clawed back the $200,000. 2 of my siblings negotiated payment plans. The other 2 paid in full. One of my sisters sent me a letter while Dad was in prison. I didn't know. I should have asked questions. I'm sorry. I wrote back. I forgive you, but I need space. We haven't spoken since. Dad's properties were sold to cover his debts. He moved into a small rental an hour outside the city. I didn't go to his sentencing, but the court asked me to submit a victim impact statement. I kept it short. I didn't do this to punish my father. I did it because fraud is fraud, even inside a family, and silence is complicity. 6 months after the case closed, I got a check in the mail. A whistleblower award from the IRS, $22,000. I donated half of it to a nonprofit that helps families recover from financial abuse. Dad sent me one email from prison. I hope you're happy. I didn't reply. 18 months after his release, I changed jobs, moved to a new city, started therapy. It helped. 2 of my siblings stay in low contact. We exchange texts on birthdays. The other 2 have gone no contact with me. They still think I'm the villain. I'm okay with that. Dad never apologized. He's out now. Lives alone. Works part-time at a property management company. I don't hate him, but I don't talk to him either. Because here's what I learned. You can't control how people react when you stop enabling them, but you can control whether you stay silent. I didn't get a $50,000 check that Christmas. I got something better. My integrity. And that's worth more than anything he could have given me. If you've ever been the scapegoat in your family, drop a black heart in the comments. And tell me, would you have reported him or walked away? I want to hear your story. If this one hit home, hit that subscribe button. There's more where this came from. Thanks for watching. This was hard to share. But if it helps one person trust their gut and stand up to financial abuse, even in their own family, it was worth it. This has been a fictionalized dramatization and is not legal or financial advice. See you in the next one.